In the recent times, we've had a whole lot of experiences with children in the boarding house. Of them, going from home, we've had issues of rape, we've had issues of molestations, we've had issues, and in all of those issues, it's been back and forth between the parents, the schools, the school administrator, the school owners, and even the government. Now, I know personally that the parents, we've got a very huge role to play in all of this. As the school is resuming, or probably the school just resumed, what are the things that parents should do? What are those things that parents should watch out for so that our children and our worlds do not fall victim of all of the vices, the negative vices going on around in the schools now?
Okay, thank you. As the children are resuming, there are basic needs that children actually need in life: food, clothing, shelter, good education. Some people add Wi-Fi to it these days. As they resume, you also have to think about the age of the child. Now, you mentioned boarding school. So if your child is going to boarding school, if you have chosen that, you need to understand the reason why you have chosen that. Why have you chosen for your child to be in boarding school? Is it for your own convenience? Oftentimes, the parents do it for their own convenience, and the child is not ready to take on the world that often issues. So you must ensure that your child is actually ready. The boarding schools are not there to train your children, contrary to popular belief. So when your child is going, have you empowered the child to know enough to be able to speak up when there are cases of abuse or bullying, or seniors trying to abuse children? What are your children going to do? Is your child even the one that is a bully? You need to figure these things out by having a good relationship with the teachers that are going to be looking after your children when you go. And for those that have younger children, also, as long as the child is aware, 18 months, 2 years old, you begin to tell them about their body parts and people not touching their body in any way, not abusing them in any way. A lot of parents don't get on with schools, they don't get on with teachers, and we need to change that narrative. There has to be a cordial relationship between teachers, the schools, the parents, because we are all working in the best interest of the child. So any reasonable parent must ensure that they are doing everything they can to make sure that they have a very seamless relationship amongst all these parties that are involved in raising your children. Parents need to be very organized as they start school. They have to plan. A lot of children will go to school and they don't do well, and the parents will assume that the teacher is not good enough or the school is not good enough. They're moving the children, they're changing the schools. But you find that if you as a parent are not doing your job at home, then your child might not do very well. Say, for example, because they didn't wake up on time, which is also due to lack of planning. Maybe they didn't go to sleep on time, or you didn't wake them up in time, or they're not eating their breakfast in time, knowing that your child is a picky eater or a slow eater, and then you're shouting. By the time you take the child to school, some of them will have smacked the children. You take the child to school, the morale is already down, the child not even ready or interested in learning, and then you say it's the school, you say it's the teacher. So we must know that the things that we do also at home really matters. The food that your children eat, a lot of parents, they want quick fixes. So what they do is they get all these noodles, they get all this fast food for their children. They have a lot of sugar, a lot of yogurt, food that are so rich in sugar, or they're eating rice every day, eating noodles every day. You need to work with the schools. If you are going to struggle to give your children healthy meals, you should be giving them fruit and vegetables to take to school. Colorful food, not just white food all the time. Consistently giving them food that is not good for their health. They come to school, some of them are so erratic, and those sugar packs, their teeth are not good, their breath smells. And you'll be surprised that it's not always from children or homes that are in the lower economic status. You find that even people that are well-to-do and can afford to look after those children, they're just not there. They're delegating their responsibilities to domestic workers, and these people some of them just do whatever they want. And then you find children coming to school with unkept hair, with stinky breasts, uniforms not ironed, not looking great. They can look great, and these are the things that parents really need to be looking out for at this time as they resume. Get to know the teachers, let them speak to you, be available for them to speak to you. Some people have special needs children. You have to be speaking to your teachers' children. You have to be in a good relationship with them, not going there and being a nuisance, but making sure that there's this open line of communication. And they're not there to fight. When they give you feedback, you're not saying, oh, it's not my child. You're not defending aimlessly, because children behave in different ways. They can behave one way at home and they behave in another way at home. So what you want to do is continue to get reports, and you continue to do your findings as a parent, understanding that it's not a war between parents and the schools. So those are basic tips. I think the rest of them, we should know them, that they should go to bed on time. They should rest, and don't overload them with lessons. Nigerians like lesson teachers. Whether your child knows it or does not know it, it's lessons. The kind of lessons you should be doing are more of moral values and character development, because a lot of people don't have time to train their children properly, and they're behaving anyhow. So instead of English and maths, your child is not doing well in English and maths, you go and get lesson teacher. But when your child is misbehaving in class, you don't get lesson teacher for that. You just beat and do what is not correct to your children. Well, how about somebody helping your child with etiquette and manners, speaking, elocution, things that are important? Focus on the extracurricular activities, not just the cognitive all the time. So these are the basic things, because I don't really know how much time I have. I'm happy to speak some more, and I'm happy to take some more questions. Thank you.
Okay.
On the lesson aspect right now. A lot of parents now, even the father, the mother, and because of the situation all over the world, not peculiar to Nigeria now, you have to some sort of work for more hours. Unfortunately, in our terrain, things are really difficult because of the value of our naira, and parents realize that they have to put in extra effort, to make enough money, even to cater for these children. And you realize that a lot of parents, most of the times, they leave home so early and they come back so late. And this is the reason you find a lot of parents having to put their children in one lesson, or the other in another lesson, and all the other, until probably to while away the time before they come back. A parent that finds him or herself in this situation, what would you say?
I think that parent needs support from parents. Say, for example, I've heard of parents that live on the mainland in Lagos. Their parents live there, their aunties, their cousins live there. The support system is there, but they need to belong. They will move to the island. And they move to the island, the support system is not there, for example. And then they have to rely on these lesson teachers and domestic workers. We must note that a lot of times when these teachers are left alone, some of them are left alone with your children. They actually abuse your children in different ways: physical abuse, verbal abuse. Some of them are just there, just covering homework, not really teaching anything. They're just there. And a lot of parents use it to kill time. And this is not what we should be doing. Instead, we should be building healthy relationships, finding people we trust, so that we can have little play groups, for example, or we can have someone that can help you pick up your child and still maybe one of the parents is finishing early. This happens when you have healthy relationships around you, when you have healthy support systems. And for those that are coming up and are young couples, you really need to think about the number of children you have. Don't let society pressure you into having 2 children, 3 children, 4 children, 5 children, because you're going to need more than money to look after them. No matter the amount of money you have, if you don't have the time, then you're not there to parent your children. You will be subcontracting it. Someone else will be doing it in a way that you don't fancy. So you must ensure that you have the number of children that you can manage. It's tough, and it's going to get increasingly tougher as time goes on. So make sure that you look for pockets of people that you trust as much as possible. Try and stay with families. In Nigeria, I personally don't, let me not say that, because someone will say I'm talking about, before you send your child to boarding school, really think about the reason why you want to send your child. I don't want to say, because I know I have friends that have boarding schools, and to be honest, because I know that a lot of people, educational system and behind the scenes, I know that a lot of teachers have been pushed into the education career, and they're there. They don't want to be there. They're just there for the money. They're not necessarily there because they love your children. It can be a challenge in many respects. So we must be careful that we where we put our children, and we must connect. Once you're registering your child, you're registering yourself. You want to know what is going on as a parent.
Okay. I would like, before I let you go, I know you have to go, but finally, before I let you go, I want to speak on behalf of the low-income parents now, you talked about the things to give the child, the food the child should eat, and these and there and there. And for the low-income parents now, what would you say?
Income is not necessarily always going to be there, but as much as they can, they should look for things that are local. Anything that has color is often good for the body. So these fruits, I know that they can be expensive, and sometimes we just have to look for bargains. There are bargains that we have to look for. I know whilst you might be going to, some people might be going to the shop, right? Some people might be going to the market, and they will know certain places where they can visit to get food that is good for the body. And people that are even in low-income families are the ones that even need, all children need good diets, but they need it so much more because of the environment in which they need. The children need to fight off a lot of the germs in the environment. They need to fight off a lot of the diseases in the environment and to build their immunity. And in order for them to do this, they need good food. So whilst it's expensive, and it's expensive for everybody, honestly, I'm telling you, these days, what is not expensive, for whom is it not expensive, especially when it comes to food. We're all looking for bargains. So whatever your socio-economic status, please just continue to look for a bargain to ensure that the children are eating well.
Thank you so much. I really
appreciate your time. Thank you. I wouldn't want to keep you longer than I have kept you. But what would be your parting words for everybody in general? The parents, the teacher, inclusive now, because you cannot exclude the teachers or the school administrators out of all of this.
The schools, administration, schools, parents, children, there must be collaboration. There must be love. We must want to do this together to get the results that we want. The children are coming from homes, and if the society and the pressures of the economy is causing problems, marital problems, for example, we must ensure that we keep it away from the children and ensure that we give the children the best we can, because their mental health is very, very important. Their emotional state, very, very important. It's not just about the food, the clothing, and the shelter that you give them. They must be stable enough to come and learn, to want to learn. They must not dread going home, and they must not dread coming to school. It must be a place where there's love. Schools must be a place where the children can find love. It shouldn't just be an institution. I don't believe it should be an institution. We have to think of it as a home for the children, where they come to learn, where they have fun, they enjoy, they connect, they build, and they grow. So in all of this, I would say if we work hand in hand and we collaborate all together, then we'll have a successful term and even a more successful academic year. And I wish everyone all the best. Thank you so much for inviting me. Okay,
thank you. I really do appreciate your contribution
to the show this morning. Ronke Poch Adeniyi, she's an educator, the founder of, the director of Lopoch Schools. Thank you so much for being my guest this morning. Same here. Wow, it's been so much as the school is resuming, even in the midst of the hard times, in the midst of all that is happening in Nigeria, particularly in the midst of no money, in the midst of looking for what the children will eat. And it is more demanding when they are going to school, because you have to think about what they will eat to school, probably what they will take to school, probably the snacks and everything. It's so much demanding. But in the midst of everything, these children, they did not beg to be born. They did not beg to come into the world. So it is our responsibility to take care of them. And just like Ronke Poch said, that it is not all about money. It is about responsibility. And to the up-and-coming parents also, you just give back to the children you will be able to take care of and cater for, physically, mentally, psychologically, financially, and in every other way. So as they go to school, remember, it is a collaboration between you and the school. So do not see your child's school administrator or your child's teacher as the enemy here, and do not leave the sole responsibility to whoever is handling your child in school. You have the main responsibility to take care of your child. And please, and please, everybody out there, the school has resumed. Remember to tell your child, whether the child is a male or a female, remember to tell your child to speak up once there is any danger, or the child feels that he or she is becoming insecure. And remember, do not shut your children up, because if you do, I'm sorry, that could be the last you will hear. And I just pray that the damage wouldn't have been done before it comes to your notice. Please, let's be intentional about taking care of these children. The school has just resumed. We have to be very, very, very careful. We wish everybody all the best, and we wish the students good resumption. And we cannot but continue to say it. Parenting is intentional. That is where I call it a wrap on the show this morning. Bumper breakfast continues tomorrow. For now, I am saying bye-bye. My name is Yinka Kenny. See you tomorrow.